I think of wellness as a name for the industry, and I think of well-being as the state that we're looking for.
That's a very good point.
Welcome to the Luxury Travel Innovators podcast. I'm your host, Adam Deflorian, founder and CEO of AZDS. Let's take off.
Today I'm joined by Myk Likhov, founder and CEO of Wellist. Myk, thank you so much for joining me on Luxury Travel Innovators.
Thanks for having me.
Can you tell us a little bit about your background and Wellist?
Yeah, so my background is in different parts. So I started my life in finance.
Okay.
And I thought that's what I was going to do. I was always raised to become a businessman.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that. I went to UCLA, graduated, worked at a hedge fund. Then I went and worked at a venture capital fund in Russia, after which, so very finance bro. Then I went to Wharton Business School.
Okay.
And after Wharton, some things shifted and I went a totally different direction than my peers. And I opened up a yoga studio.
Okay.
That was 19 years ago. Since 19 years, I've been in the wellness space, which actually, because it's such a new industry, it's a very long time to have been deeply embedded in wellness and in large part in Miami.
Okay. And this yoga studio is here in Miami?
Yeah, the yoga studio is called Green Monkey.
Okay.
And it popularized yoga in Miami. We took it to 4 locations before I exited, and then went back into finance, New York, consumer startup world, and then started Modern Home. And Modern Home is a brand. We make physical products. Okay. But because I had started the yoga studio, I started activating. So I actually started meditations in my loft near Wynwood, 15 years ago, and 11 years ago, actually.
Okay.
And those meditations spawned more meditations, workshops, programming, and Modern Home evolved actually into this community and events platform where we now run meditations and spiritual wellness content at lots of luxury wellness properties, including Faena, Edition, Soho House, The Moor, you name it. And so that's been what I've been doing for quite a while until Wellist came. I'm sure we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But that was the kind of what led up to me going all in on Wellist.
Very cool. So before we get to Wellist, you mentioned you had the 4 yoga studios. What neighborhoods were they in?
So we started, I was 26, 27 years old.
Yeah.
Grew up in LA. Okay. And my business partner and I both went to school in LA, and we knew how it worked. And we were in all the cool places, the cool houses, the cool parties. We knew how LA worked.
Okay.
So when we were deciding where to build a yoga brand, we looked at different markets around the US. We ended up in Miami. We saw it where we looked at it and said, you know what? Miami and LA work similarly. And so we picked Miami and we said, where's the first location going? We said, we want maximize success. So let's put our first location in a wealthy neighborhood, and let's put it near a university.
Okay.
So the first one was in Coral Gables, South Miami, because we figured there's all the students, all the professors, the housewives at the time. Yoga was not what it is today. Okay. But it was this,
Was it bigger out in LA then?
Well, of course. Well, we decided against LA, New York, and San Francisco because we were, I might have mentioned, finance bros.
Yeah.
So the competition, we were not yoga teachers. We weren't, in a lineage. So we were 20-somethings. I was deeply committed on my spiritual path. He was too, in his way. But we wanted to put into a secondary market where we knew we could have success.
Which at the time Miami was.
Which is no longer. It's not a primary market. Yeah. But back then, it was a secondary market that we could see the alignment with LA. So we knew how it would work. Like Philadelphia works so different than LA.
Yeah.
Miami and LA had that comparable value system, the way that the market looks and feels and how people are selecting. So we picked Miami. We picked the Gables, South Miami, because of its proximity to University of Miami, because the Gables is a wealthy neighborhood. So we have that success.
Okay.
We opened in South Beach. So we actually were the first wellness business to open in Sunset Harbor, which is now a very well-known neighborhood for locals, but it's really known for wellness. But we were there before any other wellness business and helped build that ecosystem, and we're kind of our anchor of it in terms of creating that Sunset Harbor livability, lifestyle area. And then we had a location in Midtown.
Okay.
And then we also had, at that point it was the Viceroy, but we ran the wellness yoga program at the Viceroy. So let's say it was 3.5, 4 locations.
Very cool. Very cool. And, you've been in Miami now for a very extended period of time, went from a secondary market to a primary market, maybe the primary market, if you look at it now compared to what's happening on the other, on the coasts, totally. Or I should say the coast, but just further north for this side. And what have you seen in terms of growth in this city, change in this city, and specifically around wellness, right? Like going from that South Beach spring break and party energy to getting away from that entirely. I'd love to hear kind of what you've seen in terms of change in the city, how we've seen such extraordinary growth, and then how it's changed into such a wellness-focused destination.
Absolutely. So when I came here 19 years ago, Miami was kind of a sleepy town, a destination place, resort place. You'd come here to have fun.
Yeah.
For everybody. So it was a great place to be. The lifestyle was still great, but it wasn't serious. The reason is it was people were coming here to let off steam, to relax. Even the wealth, it was all second homes, third homes. So nobody was here to do business.
Yeah.
So in around 2011, there was a shift. There was something called the Knight Foundation in Miami.
Okay.
The Knight Foundation, it's the Knight Ritter. It's the foundation for the Knight Ritter family or properties. So the newspapers all across the US. And the program director there, Matt Hagman, he made a decision to start investing in entrepreneurship locally. He said, listen, we live in this city. This is where the foundation is based. We should develop the ecosystem around entrepreneurship and innovation here and be competitive and so on and so on. And so they started deploying funds across different organizations and initiatives to start seeding the market. Now, here's the thing. There's a lot of PR around the time about it, a lot of talk about it, but no teeth.
Okay.
Because the actuality is the capital wasn't here looking to get deployed, but more importantly, the intellectual capital wasn't here. There were no smart young people, leaving Google or leaving Goldman Sachs, like building anything in Miami. So for about 4 or 5 years, there was this PR, there are these organizations, and they kind of like went along, if you will.
Yeah.
They're kind of like, they were moving Miami in the right direction, but it was not the what was messaged out to the world.
And this is about 2016 at this point.
Yeah. Like, let's say it started 2012, 2013, and the next, I would say 5 years.
Okay.
COVID hit.
Yeah.
Right. We all know that all the transplants, like all the New Yorkers, everybody came to Miami.
That was the sudden infusion. That was like the change.
That was the inflection point when everybody realized that Miami is the only place open.
Yeah.
And it's fun and the weather is good.
Right.
Like full stop, everything checked out.
Yeah.
So a lot of people came. A lot of people who could were leading their businesses so they could leave.
Mm-hmm.
Like the remote work trend really started developing at that point. And a lot of people came and they realized how good it is. The lifestyle, the taxes, the political environment for new businesses. So post-COVID, a lot of people left, but a lot didn't. And there is now infrastructure and an understanding of how good Miami was. So even the people that left might have kept a place here or they started coming back more often. That changed everything. And now these days you have, all the billionaires from California.
Yeah.
Now Howard Schultz of Starbucks. Of course, New York came down and has been coming up and down the whole time.
Yeah.
But now what you have is we've passed the threshold by a long shot of creating that infrastructure. And what I said was not existing in 2011, 12, 13, 14, 15 of a critical mass of intellectual capital. Who are the people that are actually going to do the work?
Yeah.
Who are the people that are going to build the businesses? Like who've had exits, who have cash to deploy, who want to invest in the ecosystem and the infrastructure. Now it's all here. Mm-hmm. So, and we've been talking before this podcast about the events happening and everybody coming. So what you have now in Miami is this absolute centralization, or maybe it's the word for it would be concentration
Yeah.
of capital, excitement, and energy. So from all over the world, and it's going to be this way. I don't know what the data shows, but we're going to have more millionaires, billionaires per capita, I'm sure, than most places.
100%. You might already be there.
Totally. That's why I don't know.
I don't know the exact stat, but I think it's very close, if not there.
I mean, the Google boys are here,
exactly.
like the Bezoses, all the finances.
Zuckerman recently.
I think Musk just also like
Musk,
it's
for sure. And you have on the business area, Citadel. You have just I mean, it's really remarkable. Palantir, really incredible.
So you have all of this happening, and it's a great place to be. So now there's a lot of people that are in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s who are coming here. In fact, I was speaking with there's this person, Brian Johnson, the Don't Die guy.
Yep.
His doctor, the one that did all the protocols for $2 million a year, who was his physician. We were he was going to be a part of Wellist. He ended up not being in town. But I'm like, why are you here? Why are you in Miami? He's like, I'm here to raise capital. And I'm like, wait, this is a new story.
Yeah.
I've never heard of people. And he lives in London.
Yeah.
It's like, I've never heard of people coming to Miami and staying here for the purposes of raising money. That's where you go to SF. That's where you go to New York. Like, you go to certain places for that. But how exciting that Miami is now the place that people are coming to actually access resources.
Yeah.
And it's such a small town. I mean, It's not the size of LA, certainly not New York. It is, that's what I mean by per capita, where there's going to be some real interesting, I'm sure, data coming out by how much concentration of power, wealth, resources are going to be in such a small space with so few people.
So you're from LA. What's going on there? What happened there? You'd think that's where Wellist would be too. I mean, back if you look at back in the day, but they're having some serious challenges.
They are, and I've been gone now for a very long time. I left LA in 2002.
Okay,
so it's no longer my world per se, but wellness developed in LA in a very particular way. You would think that wellness, that the capital of wellness would be LA.
Exactly.
And for a period of time, it was.
Yeah.
But now LA and California, they've got a lot of challenges, right? I think, foremost is political and economic, and the burden of what policy is or being enacted, or risk of policy being enacted. So people are leaving. You've got real challenges in LA. I mean, again, policy, homelessness, crime, and so on. But also, I think, one of LA's traditional institutions, entertainment, is being decimated for a variety of reasons. Yeah. Like, yes, AI is going to completely change everything and is changing everything now, I'm sure. But also just with social media, short format content, things of that nature that even over the past 2 years pre-AI were already impacting the economy there. So I think that's a challenge. The crime is a challenge. The just general economic burden is a challenge. The fires are a challenge.
Yeah.
The environmental things happening in California are a problem. So a lot of people who weren't rooted in LA left. And that's a huge thing about LA too. So many people were transplants there.
Right.
Like, everybody goes to LA to get famous. All of a sudden, you're not famous, you're working another job, but you're not really rooted there. So people left. They went to different places.
Yep.
During COVID, Miami, I would say globally, that Miami was the biggest beneficiary as far as a city of what happened in the world.
Yeah.
People moved everywhere. People left Miami. People left Miami to go to Tulum. They went to Costa Rica. People went from LA to Austin. But I think in Denver, but I think the majority of people somehow found themselves in Miami and go, oh, it's good here.
So how does, and then we'll get to Wellist and we'll dive our way that direction. But I'm curious to hear your opinion of how Miami doesn't make the same mistake as LA, right? Between price increases, between this growth of an influx of, as you said, transient people, because you have new people coming here because the opportunities are so great. So how does your, governmental structure here and the mayors both of Miami Beach and of Miami prevent it from making the same mistakes that LA did?
Great question. So I'll start with the economic side.
Mm-hmm.
So there's already evidence of people being priced out.
Yeah.
People are moving in and there's a huge exodus
Yeah.
of people because they can't afford it. They're like, rent is $3.5K, $4K.
Yeah.
I'll try Atlanta. I'll try Jacksonville. I'll try fill in the blank. So that's happening.
Yep.
So I don't think that's particularly preventable. I'm sure there's policy ways to do it and affordable housing and so on and so on, but the houses are expensive.
Yeah.
The living is expensive. Prices are expensive. Miami, a lot of times, especially Miami Beach, prices for the tourist.
Yeah.
That's a problem. And I see that being talked about in the hospitality space because I follow some content creators that talk about it. Because you have to rely on locals. Like Miami is seasonal, summer is slow.
Right.
You can't just assume that the tourists are going to carry your all your overhead over the course of the year.
Especially luxury tourists. I mean, you're not going to come here in the middle of the summer and pay the same prices that the non-seasonal market like LA can get away with.
Totally. So Miami actually, a big part of it, I think, is there has to be an emphasis on locals.
Yep.
And driving value for locals and repeat business in the local community. I think that is working in our favor because there's more people coming here who have disposable income. So that's interesting. But I do think that there's a shift in the demographic of Miami, which is going to go upscale. So so I don't think that's solvable. I think that's just like called gentrification.
Yeah.
That's a trend that I see as being, kind of inevitable here.
Yeah.
What I think is different is that, I tend to think, because I also come, so my yoga business and my my spiritual wellness business are deeply personal to me and also have shaped my view of things. So I think about things in terms of energy, in terms of the nature of ideas and places and spaces. So cities all have a particular energy.
Yeah.
So New York, transaction.
Yep.
New York is like, you go to New York, you transact.
Yeah.
Like business, opportunities,
everything,
relationships. It's transactional.
Yeah, totally.
LA to me is perception. How do things look? Like LA exported culture to the whole world. Everything had to be beautiful. People were good looking, so surface level. And I'm on the record for saying that. LA is so surface level.
Yeah, 100%.
Miami is different. Miami is actually one of the most diverse places in the US, maybe the world. I think something like 60 or 70% of the people live in Miami were not born in the US, which is crazy. So you think like 60 to 70% I was born in Russia.
Yeah.
So I add to that. I add to that. That
so you're first generation American.
Correct. I immigrated when I was a baby to LA.
Okay.
So so that's really interesting. So Miami is close to the water. Miami is like sexy. It's engaged. The culture is very community oriented. You've got the Cuban culture, the Jewish culture. You've got the Venezuelans, tons of of course, Latin American flavors. These people like to party. They like to celebrate. They like to be in community. They take care of each other. They build roots. They're entrepreneurial. They own laundry mats and construction companies.
Right.
So Miami is also one of the places in the US with so much small business activity. So I would say the energy of Miami is very, I don't know if I have a word to describe it, like surface or transactional, but I would just say Miami is very, very engaged, very engaged. People are engaged in the communities. So this is all relevant because now you have an influx of people.
Yeah.
It's a cool place to be. You can go to salsa. You can do this. You have like the wellness culture and infrastructure that's developing or developed and growing. You've got the party life. You've got this. You've got that. Nobody's lonely in Miami.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean. Like there's lonely people everywhere. And people aren't scrolling in the whole world. But Miami isn't necessarily a place where people, like if you're lonely or you want to do something, there's something every day. There's something every day of the week. It's nice weather.
Yeah.
You don't need to stay in your place.
Yeah.
There's all these, especially, when the wellness, fitness, activity, you can go kite surfing.
Yeah.
You can go sailing, you can go running. It's a huge triathlete area. People are biking, people are doing all the yoga things. You can go party. There's happy hours. There's like all of these things. And now there's all the professional layers. So now there's like, they're developed like the tech happy hours, and the entrepreneurs are getting together.
Yeah.
And there's always something to do. So if you're arriving to that, I think you're not gonna have the same level of disconnect that if somebody coming to LA, because you're in LA, it's lonely.
Yeah.
You're in your freaking car.
In your car. That's
You're
the
in your
problem.
car.
Yeah. 100%.
Driving between Venice and West Hollywood is 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And you're just like, forget the losing of the time. It's just, you're solo. You live in a house. You like don't know your neighbors.
Right.
There's a lot of pretense and so on. I'm not going to completely bash LA. There's a lot of great things about it. It's still great quality of life. But the engagement isn't there.
Totally.
And in Miami, like everybody who's showing up, they're staying because they click in. They're like, oh, my Burning Man people, my Summit people, my athletic people, like all the different communities have a home and are very active.
And it's more dense. Like to your point, right? Like when you're at the beach, right? You see everybody in the morning walking up and down, right? You see people on the streets. You don't see that in LA. And especially now, like people just you just don't see that.
Yeah, exactly. Miami has these like little nooks, Sunset Harbor being one, Wynwood being one, South of Fifth being one. You've got these neighborhoods where people like congregate. You see that's the thing. You see, so I'm in the business of community in a large way. And then people talk about digital communities and virtual communities and my social media following. And I'm like, relax. That's not necessarily community. Community is when you actually know each other, right, and engage and have our stakeholders in some way in each other's experiences. So the actual community at the most basic level is geographic.
Yeah.
Like your barista is your community. I was playing with my barista's dog today. She's like, how did Wellist go? I want to come next year. Take me to breath work. And like, that's not necessarily my friend, but that's my community.
For sure.
And so I think that exists all across Miami. So I think if I might have taken the conversation in a totally different direction, but economically, not to make the same mistakes. That was the question.
Yeah.
So I think the natural state of Miami is way more engaged. So I think we care more about community. There are like people take care of each other. That doesn't exist in other markets to the same extent, I believe, because you don't have this immigrant, small business, tribal space. And then it is getting gentrified. And it appears that the mayors of both Miami and Miami Beach, I mean, they've got mandates to continue, but they have mandates to generate economic activity, make things better for economically for their constituents. But also they're all very aware of lifestyle, and hence their interest in supporting initiatives like Wellist, because they understand that Wellist and the larger platform and the event that we do has an opportunity to spread the benefits of wellness and well-being across more people locally, and then also to drive economic activity in the region.
Okay, so we are 2 weeks out, or 2 weeks that passed since Wellist. Talk to us about it. What was Wellist? What was the vision behind it? Like, why? I understand your background and how you sort of developed this sort of wellness focused lifestyle. I'd love to understand what led you to create Wellist, and then how did it go? What was it?
Yeah. So Wellist, actually, the idea came. I have a dear friend, and we met. The day that we met, we talked a couple of years ago, and he said, he'd been kicking around an idea about a Miami Wellness Week. And I go, oh, interesting. By the way, he is now, I can share because he announced last week, he's a developer. Okay. So he built he's a 1000 group. His name is Myk Likhov, and they are building, they just built the Villas. Okay. It's coming up. Villas is a partnership with the Major Food Group. Okay. Like helicopter on the roof type building. Going great. And they just announced their next project, which is, I think it's a very, very big project. I might be wrong, but like $1 billion in sales. Okay. And they, their partner on it, they announced last week, is Anutara. Okay. Of like White Lotus. Yeah. So that was just
Minor Hotels.
Minor. Yeah. So Minor Hotels is the brand. Yeah. Is the brand. So that it's the that's the brand of the new building. Okay. And so hotel, residences, anyways.
And that's the one right around the corner here, right? From the
correct.
mall. Yeah.
Correct. And they're doing a lot at the more as well.
Yep.
Anyways, he's busy. he's got a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah.
So he's like, wellness week. And he had kicked the idea around with another friend of his. And then that resonated for me. And I'm this Miami wellness guy with the yoga studios and all the other events and community. And turns out that I thought, you know what, maybe I'll go down this road and kick the tires. So I'll start with that part of it. Is Miami had, until 2 weeks ago, it had a week for everything except wellness. There's a music week, a food week, a Bitcoin week, an art week. And I thought it was F1, but I just saw an email. It's race week.
Race week, right.
So we have a race week. We had a week for everything except for wellness. So his initial hypothesis stood. So great. So Miami Wellness Week, check, makes sense. And I'll share about how people got excited about that. But there's another part. So because of my background and the structured way I think about things and business models and what the opportunities are, I wasn't completely inspired to just do a festival week or a week.
Mm-hmm.
Said, how can I have more impact at this stage in my career with what I want to do, with the resources and people that I know? And there's another major opportunity. Until 2 weeks ago, there was no B2B event for wellness. So it's been measured for 17 years, the market. It is now $6.8 trillion.
Wow.
Trillion. It's bigger than IT. It's bigger than sports globally. Wow. But no industry event where business owners, executives, investors, stakeholders would come on an annual basis and get together and transact, talk, learn, like CES, like Shop Talk, like HLTH, like Money 2020. So every industry and insurance, name an industry, there's an industry event.
For sure.
Or more. Wellness had it, but verticalized. It would be, I'm in the fitness industry. I'm a longevity doctor. I'm a wellness real estate. You get it.
Yeah.
Like everything was in the particular verticals, but nobody aggregated the entirety of the industry. And I think the most similar ideas is the CES.
Yeah.
Because you could be a car company, an iPhone, a software, and you're all in different parts of this electronics world.
Yeah. And even like entertainment and everything else, all part of it too.
All part of it.
Yeah.
So we're doing that for wellness. So it didn't exist. And so I thought to myself, okay, there's no wellness industry event.
Uh-huh.
Check. Let's do that. Oh, Miami doesn't have a wellness week. Check. If you bring those two concepts together, what you actually get is something like a South by Southwest of wellness.
Right.
Or in Miami parlance, it's what we use more often, an Art Basel of wellness.
Right.
Where you have a core event that's industry.
Mm-hmm.
And then for us, we think about it as the business of. So
Yeah.
it's the business of wellness. And then the week is the culture of. So Wellist becomes the gathering for the business and culture of wellness. And it just so happens to be in Miami, which is, as we said, I'll have all these things going for it. And so it makes total sense. It makes sense from a brand in Miami and Miami Beach. It makes sense from the event schedule of the season. We picked the middle of April, which we have our own lane now. So, Possible happens around the same time. F1 happens, like everybody's got their lane.
Yeah.
So we picked it. Great. So now we're in the content calendar of the region.
Yep.
And we can build something really major.
Mm-hmm. Who were some of your kind of key speakers and key, leaders that you brought in?
Yeah. So we did great. First year of anything is a huge lift.
Totally.
I mean, people have to do this on belief, on trust.
Yeah.
On the strength of the idea, of the pitch, of the relationship and the connection. So some of the big players we brought a number of C-suite from Equinox.
Okay.
So I think two of the C-suites, so head of strategy, the president of Equinox spoke great. They also did some of our side events. Looks like hopefully we'll have a deeper relationship with them. McKinsey came. So McKinsey, the partner for fitness and wellness, who leads the fitness and wellness practice, they came. They do also do an annual report on wellness.
Okay.
So they teased some of the insights for 2026 because they haven't released the report yet. They had a great experience. They want to come back. We had the CFO of 8 Sleep.
Oh yeah.
And then as it related to your world, we had The Well.
Mm-hmm.
So wellness real estate. We had an organization called IWBI.
Okay.
They're the ones that certify wellness in the built environment. So they work with even Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies, and they are creating standards for practical, actual standards for infusing wellness into the build and lived environment. We had Shaw Wellness, which is one of the top destination clinics, wellness.
One of our new partners actually as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Alfredo's amazing.
Yeah.
He's an amazing guy. So I think, and more.
Yeah.
I mean, we had 92 speakers, so it'd be
amazing. Do you have the 8 Sleep? Do you use it at home?
No, I don't.
You need to. This is what my guest yesterday told me.
So Nick, if you're listening, Nick is the CFO. Nick and I went to college together.
Okay.
We were in the same fraternity.
All right.
Nick, get me an 8 Sleep.
Perfect. Me too, please.
Two.
Yeah. Leona Key, the president of VistaJet yesterday, was on the podcast, and she said it's life-changing. So that's the pitch, and I need to try it.
Great. It's like I may have an in. I may have an in.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. We'll talk after the podcast. We got to figure something out on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Out of curiosity, like wellness is obviously having a moment, and I don't think it's going anywhere, right? And wellness holistically, right? Whether it be exercise and different types of exercise, Pilates, yoga, etc., whether it's fitness and well-being, whether it's wearable technology like the Oura Ring and other things, right? Yeah. Is so popular, right? What would you say has been sort of the change in the definition of wellness over the years from back when you were, at the beginning of opening your first yoga studio to today? Like how has the definition changed of how people define wellness?
Another great question. So wellness was considered for a very long time both niche and luxury.
Okay.
So niche, only a few people cared about it. They really understood or that they wanted to live better or live longer. And luxury, because it felt like with Goop and Gwyneth Paltrow and the offerings, and even still, and that's a point that we discuss openly within the context of we call it the forum. Our conferences, which I'm sure I'll get into more, is called the forum. It's 2 days long, but it's a business model, right? But you can go upscale, upmarket, high touch, high value, lots of equipment, lots of resources needed. That's what it was. Now wellness is becoming broader.
Okay.
It is being infused into everything.
Okay.
So I just saw yesterday a content creator that actually did our initial branding. She puts content on social. Apparently alcohol brands are getting into wellness. So they're doing like electrolyte alcohol. I mean, just to give you a sense, like that, I just saw that yesterday that she made this post, but that says a lot. I mean, the least wellness thing, alcohol, is leaning into dimensions of wellness.
Yeah.
Even if it's for marketing. It's just the point.
Well, and I think they kind of have to, right? They're at a point right now, all the big alcohol brands, right, where it's a bit of like, what are we going to do?
Correct. That's the other piece that, of course, that I didn't even know about this, what I just told you.
Yeah.
But the non-alc movement is huge. Right. Non-alc, low alc. In fact, we chose to not have any alcohol sponsors. We only worked with non-alc. Again, we're trying to be very in integrity in our thesis with Wellist. And so alcohol, I do drink. It's like I drink mostly wine, but it is not a wellness typically, other than how you feel. No, in the sense of if you like to drink wine and you don't have a problem with it, that's wellness. Like wellness is not, it doesn't have to be perfect optimization. But if it's for perfect optimization, alcohol is bad. If you're looking at wellness as like quality of life, enjoying your life,
then it's part of it.
It can be part of it, totally. Yeah. So for sure. So the non-alc piece, what I was saying was that wellness is infused into everything. So in real estate, it's right now maybe it's an amenity. The Carillon, who's our partner, they did a panel around wellness as a driver of revenue, not just an amenity. Like so the kind of reconsideration of what wellness actually is within the feature set of different products and different experiences. It's now being built in. I think the same is going to happen for luxury. In my opinion, is that it's not going to be like, oh, we have ice baths or cold exposure, heat exposure, and we have this. It's just going to be expected.
How do you bring wellness from luxury, ultra luxury, and upper mid scale? And I'm using hospitality words because that's my business and it's Luxury Travel Innovators, but I think you get my gist.
Yeah.
How do you bring it mainstream, right? Because time is what you need most of the time, I would assume. That's the reason why on the luxury side of things, right? And you look at the brands like Aloe and everybody else at the upper end of the market, right? And they focus on the upper end of the market because those individuals typically have time to focus on wellness. How do you bring it scale?
I hadn't thought about that, about time as a variable or an input into the wellness lifestyle. It is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's time, but it's it is it's attention. And it's attention and intention to me.
That's fair.
So it's like, how do you choose? Like I walked here. It's a 15-minute walk. I sometimes Uber, but the Uber takes me 8 minutes, you're all said and done, whatever. But, the intention, I like to walk.
It's good for you.
It's good for me. I take a call, whatever it is. Right. It's nice out, but, it's the same. It's like time. It's like the intention. It's like, somebody else might have a different model. They're like, sure. It's a 15-minute walk. I'm going to Uber.
Yeah.
So I think intention is a big thing. But as I said, this and I think you might be interested in the specific session, but we had Alfredo from Shaw, we had Parinda, head of strategy for Equinox, talking about luxury as a business model.
Yeah,
specific to what we're talking about now.
Yeah,
but I think that so again, wellness was niche and luxury, and now it's being infused into all the different features, different parts of life. Now people get it. We want to be healthier for longer. And that doesn't just happen. We have a lot of bad habits. We've got a lot of bad product. That the healthcare system is what it is. We don't have to get into that. But there's a lot of things shifting, and people are now taking ownership over their own well-being.
Yeah.
And I'll actually make a distinction. I think of wellness as a name for the industry, and I think of well-being as the state that we're looking for.
That's a very good point.
Like for me, because it creates that distinction. So we're not, because wellness, the economic activity, the business, the industry, the market, the consumer, I use wellness when I refer to those things.
Yeah.
When I actually think about how you feel or how I feel, it's like my well-being.
My well-being.
I could use wellness, but I choose to create that distinction. And I think
that's a good point.
And I think it's useful for me as a heuristic. So what's changed, of course, is tech, is AI.
Yeah.
Is personalization.
Yeah.
And also another, again, part of the conversation, there's policy, there is things that are being done. For example, HSA, FSA. So people can use their pre-tax dollars now for a bunch of stuff.
Right.
A couple of years ago, they couldn't.
Correct. Yeah.
So that's one thing. And then scale.
That's big for sure.
That's big. Then there's scale.
Okay.
So Nick, who's the CEO of 8 Sleep, he cares a lot personally about, because I haven't tried 8 Sleep. We're going to talk.
We're working on that with Nick.
We're going to work on that with Nick.
Perfect.
But he wants to, he's really interested in getting better sleep to more and more and more people.
Yeah.
So what does that look like? It's expensive.
Yeah.
Scale. The more units you put out, the more you can drop the price.
Yeah.
And so scale is and economics and business models play a role in accessibility. So
Good point.
So again, niche, high touch, high time investment. You can look at it that way. But then there's the introduction of technology and AI, scale, more interest, and all of a sudden, unit economics bring these interventions or these tools into the hands of more and more people, and more people are interested. Now they can hopefully reach these tools and access them. And there's another piece, which is wellness or well-being. The most basic things are freaking free.
Yeah.
Sunshine,
Walking,
connection. This, you probably heard of Blue Zones, of course. So Dan Buettner's in Miami now. And
tell our audience though, because they might not know Blue Zones.
So Blue Zones, Dan Buettner, he did research, I don't know, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. I'm not exactly sure at the time, but he did research on where the most centenarians lived.
Okay.
And they found 4 or 5. It was Costa Rica, it was Okinawa, it was Japan, it was Sardinia, I think it was Greece, and some random place in California. And Alta Linda or something, if I recall. So then they said, what do they have in common? It was related to diet, it was related to walking, but the one of the biggest, if not the biggest variable was community and relationships. So people honoring the elders and like respecting them and them having a role to play and their connection with each other. So a lot of these places had very strong traditions, some of them religious, some of them, just cultural, where they really connected with each other and they all had very strong bonds. And so they found patterns related to longevity, and not just longevity, but health span as well. So not just got to a certain age, but you were mobile, functioning, quality of life, things like that. So that doesn't cost money. So
takes time and effort.
It takes time and effort, and that, but again, attention and intention.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to go your whole life, sitting in your apartment by yourself in New York, and then going to happy hours, drinking, transacting, going home, working your face off for 12 hours a day and
drinking
more and repeat, and so on and so on. That takes time.
Yeah, that's true too.
It takes time.
Yeah, and effort.
And it seems like it maybe brings a little anxiety. I don't know. Maybe it's loneliness. Again, I freaking love New York. Like I feel engaged when I'm there, but that's those are some of the dynamics at play.
100%.
So when you're thinking about well-being, I think there's a lot of aspects of it that are accessible to all, like literally to all. And it has to do with culture, maybe messaging, maybe civically, which is what I know Miami Beach is doing. What Miami wants to do is message to the community that these parks are free, these activities are available. Maybe there's free yoga in the parks, and so on and so on. And so take advantage.
Yeah.
And then there is like the economic pieces, which are like the 8 sleeps. Like, oh, it's expensive. Got it. Well, maybe there's a more inexpensive competitor. Maybe you can get most of the value via another tool or another resource. Or maybe the people at 8 sleep have a vision which is aligned with the business model. Like, oh, if we scale, we generate more shareholder value, and so on and so on.
You can create a less expensive product than just the highest end product.
Correct. I didn't ask him about that, but nonetheless, I think that's all happening. And then you have like kind of circling back these alcohol brands that are like, oh, everybody's going non-alc. And so they're actually buying non-alc brands in their portfolios. And of course, because they've got distribution and the marketing dollars and so on and so on. So that's just another product in their range. But 2, they might look to bring wellness into what would seemingly be like a kind of diametrically opposed offering.
Yeah.
But I have no idea if it's working or not. But like I just saw that some of them are trying that.
It's very interesting. What looking forward, since you seem to have such an extraordinary pulse on what's happening in wellness, what are, let's say 2 or 3 things that you think are, if we're looking at 2027, 2028 and forward, what are going to be, what do you see? It could be, types of exercise, well-being things, spa related, like what should people look for? What's going to happen?
I think like it's interesting being asked that, being on the tail end of the conference. I listened to some of the talks. Of course, I was making it all happen too.
Yeah.
But I think a few things. I think standardization is going to be vital. Like here's a great example. Peptides are the Wild West.
Mm-hmm.
We've all been hearing about peptides and they're so great and there's these different ones. Sourcing of peptides is completely all across the board. So if you are
what's it supposed to do? I asked a guest recently and we were just kind of joking about it and neither was really new. What's the peptide deal?
Well, peptides are naturally produced in the body.
Okay.
There's like a ton of them.
Uh-huh.
And they offer benefits to the body. Some of them help you with healing or help you with, different issues that you might have with, energy levels and so on. And so they are naturally endogenous. We're all produce them. So that's the idea. The idea and why they say they're so safe is like you can't like OD on a peptide. It's like
you're just supplementing.
Yeah, and
adding.
And the body produces less than gets worse at producing peptides over time. So then if you introduce exogenous peptides, that the notion is that your body's like, oh great, like I know this.
Got it.
And there's a variety of peptides. There's a ton of them. And so I've never worked with them. So I'm only speaking from what I know. So then you bring them in and they're not, you're not going to have issues. It's not like hormone replacement therapy where you can like too much and it creates different issues with levels of what you're bringing in. So, okay. So that's great, but they're so popular and you open up Instagram or online and this is a peptide and that's $100 and it's from this, online pharmacy or so on.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a problem. It's a land grab. Wellness over the past years is a huge land grab because especially in the supplementation space, because there's a drop shipping, we could create our own creatine brand probably right after this podcast. We would Google like who can make creatine. Oh, it's like this factory, whether it's China or Michigan. I don't know. We put we brand it. We put a label on it. You've got reach. I've got reach. We do more of these, and then we sell it. We don't even know what's in what that creatine is.
Yeah.
And then they've been doing tests and a lot of stuff's Amazon. If a lot of Amazon, they're dupes.
Yeah.
Like you could buy some reputable brand on Amazon that you think is reputable.
And it's really a dupe.
It's a dupe.
Yeah.
So this is clearly, and people are spending a ton of money.
Yeah.
And you think you're doing great. You're like, I got my creatine. It's my favorite podcaster's line. Like right. I've got this, I've got that. And you may not be getting what it is that you need. And the science is ever evolving and like how much and so on. So standardization, I think as we get more savvy as consumers it has to happen.
Yeah.
So it can, and to me that looks like, that's why at Wellist, we refrained from bringing very loud influencer voices into the room.
Okay.
What that looks like, there are big wellness people out there. They're out there, they're pundits, they're marketing. A lot of them are not clinicians. And that's an interesting point like I want to make is within wellness, when you're getting advice on wellness from somebody. So let's say I have a lot of insight. I might share it with you as a friend. Hey, I used this. You should try that. I did this. That's fine.
Yeah.
But as soon as you start publicly advocating for a product or a service, or especially then you add in like oh, I make money doing something.
Yeah, the affiliate.
The affiliate thing, or it's my product.
Yeah, or that.
Well, what if I'm like, who do I answer to?
Right.
And I think that's an interesting point, in the Western medical system, not a fan for the most part, very beneficial at times, but the system itself. However, they have boards. They have to answer to each other. Mm-hmm. Researchers, have studies that they put out and they're peer reviewed.
Right.
Nonsense, maybe, wherever it falls on the spectrum. what if I'm a chiropractor and I'm like, buy my thing, and I have nobody to answer to.
Yeah.
But what if I have 1 million followers? What if I have a great social media team? What if I, say it's something that we refrained at Wellist from bringing in that kind of voice or that kind of authority, because that's not what we're about.
Yeah.
And I come back to standardization, transparency, understanding where products are made, what goes in them, what does the research show? What does the research show for efficacy, for purity of ingredients, for the claims that are being made?
Mm-hmm.
That's going to become more and more important. And that's going to knock out, I don't know, I think, 80% plus of the products out there,
mm-hmm.
because 80% are probably not meeting the claims or not meeting the standards. And I wouldn't want to take subpar creatine. Like if I was taking one that was, 30% filled with garbage, and you were taking a pure one, and we just looked at the research, and I'm like, bro, that's great. And you're like, that's garbage.
Yeah.
I'll switch over.
Right.
Like, I know it's a little more expensive, but like what am I going to stay with the one because the, I like the influencer?
No. And everybody has a loud voice, and everybody thinks they're an influencer, especially here in Miami.
And again, and wellness has been, because it was niche, because it's lifestyle, it didn't have the clinical research or the clinical claim, like a way to substantiate the claims. So the loudest voice wins. Like the person with the traction got the market and got the audience, and now has market pull. And at Wellist, we were really serious about, I turned down, I won't name a name, but somebody with, just on Instagram, 4 million.
Yeah.
Who has a product line, who is in the wellness space, and his team was going to send him. Okay, great. We'd love to send him. He does keynotes on X, Y, Z. And I started doing research, and I started speaking to some of our clinician speakers and speakers. One of them is a professor
mm-hmm.
at an Ivy League university. And I wanted feedback. I said, what do you think about such and such person? And the feedback came back, and it was not, it just
didn't meet what you,
it didn't meet, again, it didn't meet the standards that I have, that we have, which are necessary for trust.
Totally.
Coming back. So Wellist is intended to be, it's not about ego. It's not about me. It's not about promoting me as some sort of pundit or authority. It's about stewardship.
Right.
It's like, how can we create an ecosystem that serves the founders, the startups, the investor community, people with good business models, with integrity, who are doing things from the right space. Because at this day and age, first of all, everything comes out.
Yeah.
So if you're listening and you ever had a question, in this day and age, nothing, no like crazy text message or DM that you slide into somebody's feed or they slide into yours, no statement, no like fault, no claim. Like, if somebody wants to find out something on you, you're toast.
Totally.
There's zero protection anymore, like in any fashion.
Yeah.
So it's crazy to try to hide shit. It's crazy.
Totally.
Because whether they find out in 1 month, in 3 months, like if somebody wants,
they'll figure it out.
They'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So that's got to go. And now when you're talking about well-being, you're talking about people placing their trust, their trust, and they're empowering you or believing in you to support their well-being.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have any deviation from being in service and supporting other people's well-being, first of all, obviously I don't think like you're a good person. Yeah. But two is it's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time.
Totally. Myk, thank you so much for joining me on Luxury Travel Innovators. It's been an amazing conversation.
Amazing. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So I end with 3 rapid fire questions. First one is, what personal travel are you most excited about next?
Well, given that I just finished this huge event, I have 2 weddings. I have one,
Okay.
not mine,
You're not getting married?
not twice.
Okay.
We're not. It's like definitely counterculture a little bit, but that's a lot. I would say so. I have a wedding in UK outside of London,
Okay.
and then one in Ibiza. They're both in June.
Sounds
So
amazing.
that puts me in Europe for the summer.
Yeah. That's perfect. Where outside of London is the first one?
Shropshire.
Huh.
I have no idea. I think it's Shropshire. I think you have to fly into Manchester.
Okay.
And I'll just plug my friend Murray Hittery, who's he does these silent piano meditations all over the US. He gets like 1,000 people with headphones.
Oh, okay.
He plays the piano improvisationally and then says spoken meditative prose.
Pretty cool.
So beautiful. Does it all over the US. He's doing his first ones in Europe as well.
Nice.
So he's getting married. He's getting married, and then I think he's doing one in.
And he's not getting married twice.
He's not.
Okay.
No, he's not. No. And then there's going to be anyway. So that's the first wedding, and I'm really excited to go.
Sounds exciting. Amazing. The show is all about innovation and moving forward, but the past shapes the future. So, what do you miss about the glamorous days of travel?
Oh, the mystique. Everything is so in your face. You know what you're getting, I guess, in a lot of ways. And so the journey is less exciting for me.
You see more. Yeah, but totally.
Like I know what you're getting. You know what the rooms look like. You know this. You know what the amenities are. You do all the research, and then you just go and it's like, did it meet my expectations?
Totally.
And before you're like, what's this place going to look like? What's the city going to be?
You're 100% right. I do think the one cool part about travel, though, in regards to it's the only thing that we're anticipation still, even though it's less, like you just mentioned, it still exists, right? With Amazon, you get something in 2 hours. With any product, they overnight it to you now, right? So like you don't ever have that period of anticipation, which is, in my opinion, one of the best parts of life, even though people won't admit to it because they get anxious about it. But at the end of the day, that's the most exciting point in time. And you still do get a little bit of that with travel.
Yeah, no,
which is fun.
Adventure. I mean, we need adventure. We need new horizons, change of scenery.
Yeah.
Because we're all, at least in my circles, we're so locked in.
Totally.
That getting outside of that frame is actually so beneficial.
And last, what innovation in travel doesn't exist today that you think should?
Wow, that's okay. What exists doesn't exist that should,
and it doesn't have to be technology.
I would say, I think that there's something. I'm going to go with something around personalization.
Okay,
I think that probably has to do with technology. I'm excited to see what kind of personalization with AI and ability to harness data. Like if you show up to a room and I show up to a room, they should be different.
Totally.
Like yours should have, a little dolphin, like stuffed animal, just making that up. And mine will have, I don't know, like a whatever else that's special.
A yoga mat.
A yoga mat.
Okay.
Exactly. That's a great, you can find all this out. Now you can harness all this data and through all the AI and make these kind of personalized choices that I'm sure that's happening ultra luxury. But again, I think the price of that level of service is dropping, and at some point will just be a decision.
Totally. Thank you, Myk. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching this episode of Luxury Travel Innovators. Be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. See you next time.